Hello, my name is Rick Forrest, and I'm here to talk to you about a pressing issue: children in need of loving, stable homes. It's been estimated that worldwide over 100 million children live without caregivers. In Kentucky, 2,000 children need homes right now. And in 1 year, Kentucky had over 18,000 documented cases of child abuse and neglect. Do these numbers surprise you? Adoption is a way to provide a loving, caring home for many of these children. Thousands adopt every year. In fact, 2 to 4% of households in America contain children who have been adopted. 15% of these adoptions come from foreign countries, while 85% come from right here at home. These are loving, caring families who are seeking to enrich their own lives and the lives of the children they adopt. These numbers are growing every year. Does that surprise you? We have some adoptive parents with us here today who want to share their heartfelt and moving stories with you. As you hear their stories, we'd like you to ask yourself this question: is adoption a means to solve a problem both here and abroad? Well, we at Adoption Bridges of Kentucky think the answer is yes. There are many myths about adoption. Some of these myths include birth mothers are generally teenagers. Single parents cannot adopt. Birth parents do not love their children, thus place them for adoption. It's best if birth parents and adoptive parents never meet. Birth parents don't care who raises their children, they just want to get rid of them. I am too old to adopt. These myths are both untrue and they're cruel. Today we have the chance to hear from a birth mother who placed a child for adoption, a single adoptive mother, and 2 couples who have also adopted children. They want to tell you the truth about the adoption process.
Right after I graduated from high school, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I guess maybe the middle of my freshman year of college, she passed away. Three months after that, I found out I was pregnant. And it was just a really overwhelming time, and there was just no way that I was going to be a parent. So we found the adoption agency and talked to Carolyn, and she showed us some profiles, and she said, you know, there's no pressure, you don't have to do this, but here are the people that are available. The unrealistic decision would have been to be a parent. So the decision to go with adoption was actually a very comforting decision, and it was one that made me feel better about my situation.
Adoption seemed unrealistic to us because, first of all, we were unfamiliar with the process. We feared a lot of things about adoption. We feared whether or not we would bond with a child that wasn't biologically ours. We wondered how we would raise a child that was not biologically ours.
I assumed that being single, I would wait a really long time, and I also didn't have a lot of extra money lying around.
Both of us being over 40, we thought we would never going to be chosen as by the birth parents, so we thought this was basically ruled out. Everybody told us that there are simply not too many infants available for domestic adoption, so we thought there was no chance.
And I just had a lot of concerns and fears about exposing our biological daughter. We have an older daughter that's age right now, and whether I wanted to expose her to an adoption or try to have another biological child.
I think the first challenge was to convince my boyfriend that adoption was a good decision and a decision that we could live with and that he would eventually be comfortable with. But when we went into the agency and looked at the profiles of all of the people that wanted children, he saw all of the people that need children and were in a better position to have children than we were, and he felt a lot more in control of the situation.
The adoption came through really quickly, so I was unprepared financially and had to kind of work really hard and quickly to get money together so that I could go through with the adoption. Other challenges were that it was an interstate adoption, so I worked with 2 agencies, 2 lawyers. I was out of state for 5 weeks, living in a hotel and renting a car and dealing with airlines and all those things.
The most intimidating part was all the paperwork, all the background checks and the police reports and everything.
Well, Cameron is considered special needs. She has a congenital disorder. It's called congenital ectodactyly, and what that means is that she has missing fingers
digits.
and toes. We had to get doctors' statements that we would treat her disorder.
After you have done everything and you know you can't do anything anymore, you have now to wait for the birth parents to choose you. That was for me at least more challenging than the legal part or the paperwork, because it was something where I couldn't do anything.
The first 6 to 8 months, her fear of food not being there, she would gorge herself.
When we first got her, we were still in China. We went back to the hotel we were staying in, and we had taken snacks and bought little things to have around just to munch on, and we noticed things were missing, and we didn't see anybody eat it. So we got looking around, and she's putting them in the nightstand. And we found her little stash.
Really evaluate how you're going to feel about yourself, not so much how your family is going to feel or how your friends are going to feel about it, but how you're going to feel when it's all said and done. You know, don't think so much in the present as you would think more in the future.
Make sure that you understand adoption from all points of view, the birth parent's point of view, the adoptive family, and the child.
I would tell people to be realistic, but also be hopeful. I would tell people to trust the process and to follow it, and not try to run around it or get frustrated, because the process works if you follow it.
Don't try to go it all alone. You have assistants, you have people in the agency who can help you, you have support groups. Get engaged with them, and there's plenty of people who are in the same situation as you.
Connected with other people who are going through the very same thing that you're going through, and then people who have already been through it that can give you wisdom. And enjoy it. You know, enjoy the preparations and the waiting time. With the natural birth, you have 9 months to get ready, you know, and enjoy planning and dreaming of that child that you're going to hold in your arms and that's going to be yours forever.
Well, the obvious reward in adoption is that we have our son. I feel like after much time going through fertility treatments and wanting to be a parent so badly that you feel like you may never be awarded that joy of having a child. And when we brought him home, it was truly a blessing to our family. It was the most rewarding thing I can think of.
Having faith. It's the biggest reward you can imagine. Having her around, she really turned our world upside down, and it's more or less really the biggest reward. Just seeing her in the morning when she wakes up and she smiles at you, it's like the sun goes up.
For me, it's fulfillment of who I think I was created to be. I've always felt like I wanted to be and would be a good mom. It didn't happen for me in the traditional way, through marriage.
Incredible. We were there for 2 weeks and to experience her culture and to see her country, and we did get to visit her orphanage. They do not allow you to go into the orphanage setting, but they brought her friends down, and we were able to take gifts to her friends at the orphanage.
Yeah, we got to visit the place that she was found, and it was 3 years to the day.
The thoughts of knowing that she's here in America and she's going to have any and every opportunity that we can provide for her, and that she is no longer in an orphanage situation. What hurts our heart is that the ones we left behind is out there. You know, it was easy bringing her home, and it's easy loving her and raising her, but it's very hard to leave the ones behind.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope we've answered some of your questions, perhaps dispelled some myths you might have had, and given you a chance to reconsider whether adoption is right for you. If you have questions or concerns, please contact Adoption Bridges of Kentucky at the website or telephone number you see at the bottom of your screen. Once again, thank you for being here.